episode 2 of the Return QB Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Hamner, and co-host App State quarterback Brady McBride. Before we keep getting into the topics we're going to talk about today, I know my life has changed incredibly drastically over this past week. Brady, how has your life changed this past week since becoming a podcast like superstar, like celebrity? I mean, your life's never going to be the same since we got those like 13 views on YouTube.
No, let's say it's changed much yet. My life has changed in the past week, cranking up all good old off-season workouts. So trying to adapt to that.
That's right. What's the temperature like out there right now? Is it pretty cold? Running outside?
No. I mean, it's had its days, but I would say like right now, it was like 47 today. I put on some shorts and a hoodie and went to class.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
So it's actually colder down here in Austin, Texas. It's like 31. Schools are canceled for tomorrow. It's like icing out there.
Oh, that's a great feeling.
Pretty big deal. I'm sure Dallas, where you're from, is even colder. It's usually a bit colder.
I saw a little bit of weather updates just from that and a little bit of snow, but it's always a good day. It's always a good day when you don't have school the next day.
The best. Yeah, we don't get a lot of snow days down here in Texas, but I'm sure some of your teammates up from North Carolina had a few snow days here and there. But speaking of cold weather, let's go ahead and just kind of jump into the first topic we want to get into. And usually we don't talk a lot of NFL quarterback just because we are, so focused on the college quarterback game. But hey, as long as it's related to the quarterback position, it's fair game here. So let's talk about the NFL playoffs. And speaking of cold weather, actually, I'm going to rewind. Before we get into the NFL playoffs, because both games are fairly cold, what's the coldest game you've played in? Do you have a game where you're just like, man, it's cold as you know what? And how did you – yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's different levels of cold. So, like, obviously the cold kind of wears off when you're playing, but, like, when you're riding the bench on those occasions – and it's real cold. And I remember last year it was me and Vitt. It was a guy I played with at Texas State for a while, and he was the guy that game. And I remember he was sick all that week coming up, and during halftime he's like, "Bro, like, can you hold this jacket for me? I need you to hold it while I'm playing." And so we just switch off when he's playing. I'd wear the jacket, and when he'd come off to the sideline, I'd kind of just throw it on my arms and trying to warm up.
Was that at Texas State or was it an away game somewhere?
No, that was an away game at Arkansas State. So it was like it was the last game of the year. Yeah, it was a cold one.
Like it's cold. Yeah. Well, the games yesterday were cold, and I think it's fun for fans to watch, but probably not for players to play necessarily. But before we keep diving into it, just real quick about this podcast, we're just a quarterback hub. Anything that's related to the quarterback position is fair game here. We do film breakdowns, interviews. We actually have a lot of really cool interviews coming up these next few weeks that we're excited and fired up to share with you all about. But we just wanted this to be like a center for any quarterback topics, just to be uplifting and encouraging and helping what we think that the best position in sports, but also probably the toughest in sport. So with that said, let's jump into the NFL playoffs. I'm gonna let you take it away as far as just the quarterback performances, and if there was one that stood out. There's a few I want to get into, especially the first game with a particular injury. But I'll let you kind of take the lead as far as like what you watched yesterday and kind of some takeaways.
Yeah. So I thought I'm gonna start with the Bengals Chiefs. Obviously, gutsy performance by Mahomes. I mean, it's no joke dealing with that ankle. There's not really like a treatment except for time with the ankle sprain. That was going to be so painful to play on, and just bearing the injury. He performed like used his legs when he like absolutely had to on that last play to put him in the field goal position. And then I like Joe Burrow. I mean, I feel like everyone likes Joe Burrow.
I like Joe. Yeah, I thought with Mahomes, like to me watching the game, like as far as the ball coming out, there didn't seem like an issue with the ball. It seemed like it was jumping, right? It didn't seem like the ankle was bothering him until like the third quarter. I think he was escaping the pocket, and then you saw like it tweaked a little bit. That's the thing with the ankle. It's like when you have the adrenaline going, you're going, you don't really feel it, but all it takes is like one like weird, you've had some ankle issues like when that pops up. You've had several. We've worked on that actually with you. But I think the biggest play that stood out to me was I think it was the touchdown that gave them the lead, and then the Bengals tied it up, if I remember correctly. But it was, I think, a third down play where he's kind of using his legs to evade the pass rush and is able to deliver the ball down the middle of the field for a touchdown. He had several like big third down plays.
Are you talking about the Valdez Scantling one on that
Yes,
3rd and 10?
yes,
Yeah.
yep.
It looked like he got to like his 3rd or 4th read in that, and obviously during that you're gonna have to buy some time, a little in the pocket, stand in there, and he delivered. They showed the replay. He got hit, all that
Just
kind of that good stuff. So
yeah, just incredible. We could talk about Mahomes forever, but yeah, you're right. And then of course the game winning touchdown, or not touchdown, game winning field goal drive where he got hit out of bounds. That run, even if it wasn't late, they would still have a. I mean, it's not likely they make it, but they still have a shot to make a field goal, right? So
yeah, that kicker seemed like he was ready to win it. I mean,
he was ready to rock and roll, dude.
yeah, there was no doubt when he kicked it, and I feel like there has to be some sort of advantage, like when you're tied up as a kicker, kicking a game winner. Like it still counts as a game winner, but at the same time, like you're going to overtime if you miss
Right.
it, kind of deal. So it's not as much pressure,
Yeah.
but
especially like if it's bad conditions, it's close to 50 yards, you kind of have an excuse.
Yeah,
I feel like,
hey, I
like
can miss this one.
maybe we'll have a kicker on the show at some time and call it Kicker Spotlight and have them give their point of view of things. But yeah, Mahomes always, just the GOAT and played incredible. Texas kids who were always happy for Texas guys to keep winning.
Yeah.
But Joe Burrow played. I mean, lights out too, right? At the beginning of the game, the Chiefs kind of had them in lockdown. They had like 3 or 4 sacks right off the bat. And then the biggest thing that stood out to me was their ability to just like make changes, not even at halftime, but like just throughout the game, throughout the process. And the things that kind of like stood out to me with Burrow and more like the coaching staff was getting the ball out quick, a lot of quick screens, and not so much like sit back in the pocket and let the play develop. It was get the ball out quick and find number one, but also find 85 T Higgins. Like once they got him involved, they were able to really move the ball.
Yeah, I know it's definitely like when you're getting sacked like 4 or 5 times in the first half, like to block that out kind of and just keep performing, keep your eyes downfield on your reads and not really look at pass rushers. And I think he does a fantastic job in that. And just like you got to commend him for it. I feel like
100%. Yeah, because if you're getting hit at the beginning of the game, it's almost like, man, it could have been a long game, And then, but they're in position, and it's cold. Yeah, but they're in position to potentially win. I know he had some picks, but they were in position to win. Just didn't end up happening. But Burrow is definitely a fun guy to watch. Him and Chase. So, yeah, really, it was a fun quarterback matchup. It wasn't like a ton of like the game Mahomes and Josh Allen played last year in the playoffs. It wasn't like, scoring left and right, just points everywhere. But it was like a methodical kind of quarterback performance. Like the quarterbacks like were earning every completion, every yard downfield, receivers getting open.
Yeah, just taking what they give them, making the smart decision. I feel like every play.
Yeah, that tends to be, I feel like, in like the best case scenario for a quarterback is taking what the defense gives you, even though we want to sling the rock downfield.
Yeah, it's definitely takes something in you to. I mean, most of the guys playing quarterback have that urge in them to make the big time throw, but just taking the easy play, just taking what the defense gives you usually results in the best.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's boring, but the boring approach tends to be a good approach. So let's talk about the 49ers and Eagles games. There wasn't a ton of like quarterback as far as like playing content goes, just because of the injury to Purdy. And then the Eagles jumped up big and Hurts didn't need to really, do much. They had a big lead. It was kind of just kind of hang out. But I do want to talk about Purdy's elbow injury. I think was it reported for sure UCL tear? Did you see that?
I don't know if it was a tear. I know the timeline was 6 months, and I knew it was his UCL. So
I believe it was a tear. If not, I apologize. We're not reporters, so go hound ESPN. But anyways, like right off the bat when I saw it, like I was like, man, that's either a UCL tear, UCL strain, or some type of ulnar nerve damage. And for those that don't know, real quick, we train a lot of overhead athletes, quarterbacks, a lot of baseball players, and high level guys. So we see these type of injuries on a regular basis. And so it was like pretty evident right off the bat. And for those that don't know, and I was telling Brady this earlier, because like if you look at Twitter, everyone's saying, they saw him warming up on the sidelines, right? So they're like, okay, he can play, he just can't throw it hard. Like get in there, go do that. Like people on Twitter are just like killing him, but they don't understand what that feels like to have a UCL injury. And if it is a UCL tear, because I did read that he's getting opinions for surgery, so this would be a similar equivalent to the Tommy John injury that you hear in and baseball players. So there's several different ways to go about it. You have the furrow reconstruction, or you have just a UCL repair. So I won't go into like an anatomical breakdown for everyone here, unless they want to know, because I could talk that geeky stuff all day.
Yeah, you're geeking out.
As Brady knows, but just so people know, like, it is very hard to do anything whenever the UCL, the ligament here connects this part of the arm and this part of the arm, whenever it's torn or injured. So that is why he couldn't go in and let it rip.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you have something in your elbow right there, doesn't it affect like your fingers and your grip?
100%. Yeah. So usually if the ligament is damaged, the nerve has some type of trauma to it as well, whether it's like a bone rubbing up against it because of the damaged ligament, whether it's like compressed because of a tight muscle, a tight tissue. Like sometimes I can hear can you see how big my biceps are? So sometimes like the muscles around here will get super tense and tight if there's a damage, if there's an injury there, and it will kind of compress on the nerve, which will, not give you what you want, a lot of feeling down there. So again, I don't know the exact injury, but I think it was a UCL tear, I believe. So there are a few different options to treat that. Good thing is not as much stress on a quarterback's elbow as a baseball's elbow. Like usually baseball is 12 to 18 months to come back to pitch if you have that full UCL reconstruction surgery. But for a quarterback, it should be quicker.
I got a question for you. So on the
nice.
What is it? The emergency quarterback rule?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on that, just based off? Because I looked it up, and it was 1991. The third quarterback rule was instituted to enable teams to have emergency quarterback available who's not on the 45-man game day roster. And I'm pretty sure they took that away in 2010. But did you ever even see that happen? Like, I wasn't really watching NFL like that in
I didn't. If I did see that, I'm sure I assumed that the guys were just on the team if they had to get in, right? But to your point, I do think that should be brought back, right? Like the NFL is always trying to make it like a quarterback friendly league to begin with, and they're all about entertainment and value. Where, well, if you have like your fourth, fifth string quarterback in, and then he gets hurt, and then you have to play a running back at quarterback in the NFC Championship game, that value entertainment's not going to be as high as you probably want, right?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look good. They're down like 28 points, and they're just running outside zone reverses, trick plays, like just trying to make something shake.
They should absolutely bring it back. Like if they spend so much time protecting the quarterback, like, or just have like your practice squad guy, allow him to suit out and it doesn't go against your roster. And if stuff hits the fan, then put him in. It doesn't make sense, but I'm sure they'll change it. Maybe they'll call it the Brock Purdy rule or something. I don't know.
Yeah, seems like a stressful gig.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. That'd be nice, huh? To have that role and never get called upon, but stay there for like 10 years. You're just like so good at holding the clipboard.
Yeah, just talking about anxiety through the whole game.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's I think that's something that would probably be brought back. But as far as Super Bowl goes, I know we're both excited because we got Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, two Texas quarterbacks, and so we'll be happy to watch them sling it. You got any prediction on that?
I mean, I'm taking Eagles. They're really good all around. Run the ball, throw the ball. They can defend. They got a pass rush, D-line.
Yeah,
they got every component to win it, and I feel like the Chiefs just kind of willed their way in there. And I don't know if that'll last.
Definitely gonna be fun. That's for sure. Definitely gonna be fun to watch. So let's transition to a new game that we're gonna try out just on the fly. It's based around the RPO system, right? So anyone watching this is probably a quarterback junkie or a football junkie, and so they have a good idea what the RPO is. But typically, actually, Brady, you go ahead and explain the RPO. You're going to be better than me at it.
Yeah, RPO is basically just finding that conflict defender in a defense, and so you got the option to pass or hand it off, and sometimes you got the option to run it too, but essentially you're finding the box, looking at the box, counting numbers, and seeing who makes that box lopsided and what would make you throw it. Is just a defender really just adding himself to the box. And you got numbers on the outside, whether it's a bubble or out, just a little quick game, kind of like an extension of the run game. So, yeah, it's really just to keep the defense honest.
Much better than the answer that I would have had. Mine would have been read a player, give it, or keep it. But with that said, we're going to play a game where it's just called the RPO game. I just made up on the spot. And basically, I ask a question or a topic, and we say we're either going to give it to the running back, meaning I don't agree with that. So if I say, hey, I can throw 70 yards, Brady is going to give it to the running back, saying I don't agree, right? But if he does agree, he's going to pull it, and then he can run it or keep it, but the ball's in his hands. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to think of a few at the top of my head. We should have been more prepared, but guess what? We're not. So I'm going to just go a few quick questions. Actually, maybe I'll go 2, and then if you have one up your sleeve, you go 1 or 2. I'll put you in the spot, and then we'll keep going down this program show. So RPO, again, if you agree, you keep it and you run it or pass it. If you disagree, you give it to the running back.
Okay.
So I can bench more than Brady McBride.
I'm giving that. Too high safety. I'm straight give.
Wow. Just off the bat, just giving it easy. No doubt about it. Okay. Maybe this will.
You got height on me, so you got longer arms probably, but.
Okay. So you're giving it. I feel like you're taller than me. No, maybe not.
Cool. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay. So who has better hands? Actually, I have better hands than Brady McBride.
Straight give.
Really?
Straight give.
I've seen your hands. Like, we've thrown the ball before.
I'm not in receiver mode. I'm not in receiver mode. My first game on varsity was at receiver.
You told me that. Dripping Springs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, represent Dripping Springs, where I'm doing this podcast from, in our gym. Very cool. Okay, that's all the questions I got. Next time I'll be prepared. Do you have anything you want to throw this way?
I got a football related one.
Okay, good. Better prepared than me.
Okay, not really prepared. Just thought of it. But, are you handing or giving? Or are you giving or pulling Kellen Mond gone as the Cowboys OC? Kellen Moore, my ball.
Kellen Moore. Yeah, that's a good one. Golly, I think so. If I hand it, I disagree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should know. I made the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand it. I'm just gonna hand it off. I don't think it's all his fault, right? I'm not a huge NFL guy or Cowboys fan. What would you do?
Yeah, I'm a big Cowboys fan. I like Kellen Moore, or I keep calling him Kellen Moore. Yeah. I like him. I've liked him since Boise State when he played. I heard back in Boise State, like, his whole mindset was he was preparing to be an NFL coach, and he had his own playbook from just growing up. I think he was a coach's kid. I might be wrong, but he was always around it. I mean, dude loves the game, and I feel like he calls a great offense. He's got so many weapons in Dallas, and I felt like he did a good job using them. Just I don't know. I think it gets tense because Dallas has so much expectation, and like I don't know. I feel like they play tight, and you can see it. So I don't really think it's his fault.
It seems like it was. He'll get a job pretty quickly, right? Like
he did. He got hired.
Oh, already? Okay.
Yeah, he got hired to the Chargers.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's going from a good quarterback with Dak to another good quarterback with Justin Herbert. That must be nice as a play caller. Okay. Man, I don't have any other football questions. Okay, I got one more. Okay, are you handing it off or are you throwing it? There will be in college football this year. There will be more than 15 true freshmen starting quarterbacks, guys that start at least one game as a true freshman, from any Division I conference.
No, I'm going to give that. I feel like, transfer portal is free agency. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of coaches, it puts a lot of trust in the true freshman when you can go out and get that 2-year starter, 3-year starter at some other school, especially if you have like a big time program. So, I don't know if that's going to be more of a trend just based on the transfer portal and the availability of all these quarterbacks that have experience and have shown what they could do. So that might be a downside to it. There's a lot of true freshman surprises that have happened, and who knows? Maybe it will happen though.
No, I agree. I think 15 is probably a big number. I just had to throw one out there. I should have said like 7, but I'm trying to think. I can think of a few guys that started this season, but not very many true freshmen.
Who?
So I know one for sure is a Central Michigan quarterback, Burton Manuel Jr. I only know that because his dad helped coach me some when I was in high school. He's a former NFL guy.
Okay.
I feel like there's another there were.
Yeah, there
We'd have
has
to
to be
think about
something.
it. Yeah, there are several.
I can think of Holton Ayers from ECU. He was his
Yeah,
fifth year, but I remember watching him as a true freshman.
yeah.
Felt like he
I was
played
talking
really
about
well.
this past year, true freshman
Oh,
starters.
okay, okay.
I don't know if you can think of any.
No, I don't have any off the top of my mind. So
Yeah, no, me neither. Yeah, okay. We'll get back to that. We'll talk true freshman quarterbacks next time. But with that, speaking of guys that are going to be true freshmen, let's transition to signing day. So what signing day now? We're filming this Monday, so it's on Wednesday, and it's like it's late signing day now, right? Like the original signing day
it's like
happens in
second
December.
string.
Yeah, exactly right. Or it's like all the big time programs for the most part have their guys, and now it's like maybe the lower level programs are coming in and getting whoever they need now.
Yeah,
Like when we were growing up, it was this one signing day. I don't really remember when.
I think it was like February, wasn't it?
Yes, it's February. I think it's the first like Wednesday or Tuesday in February. I remember.
Yeah.
But with that, I kind of, I guess not a super surprising stat, but just an interesting one is every quarterback in the top 50, or ranked in the top 50, according to 247 Sports, every quarterback but two are uncommitted right now. So one is a quarterback out of Florida who was, I forget the name, but he was committed to Florida, and then like a video surfaced or something,
Oh
and
yeah.
decommit,
I
or
think his name is Marcus Stokes.
okay, yeah. So he's one of them who's uncommitted, and then the one that's been getting a ton of headlines, which we'll talk about a little bit, is Jaden Rashada. Am I pronouncing that right? I see that right.
I believe so.
You want to give us like a brief little background for anyone that doesn't know why he's getting so much attention?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not really caught up all on recruiting, but
Yeah.
this did catch my eye because I saw 13 million. Like,
Right. Right.
and people are bashing him like, "Oh, it's all about money. It's all about money." And I sat there and thought, I was just like, what 18-year-old is not gonna try and get 13 million? And
Absolutely.
I mean, you see this in other sports like baseball. So you got guys getting drafted, and some guys like their number is a million, and
Hmm.
they go to the league if they get offered a million or more. And one, they're skipping college, which I mean they're chasing their dream, but here's a guy that's gonna go to college. I mean, plus 13 million, and for him to be offered that, I don't necessarily know like why he didn't get it or anything. I just don't see why people bash him for trying to get 13 million, which is
Right.
like talk about a head start on life. Like
100%. Yeah. And again, yeah, we don't know what went down, what was said, what wasn't, all that type of stuff. But, that's what is being reported. 13 million, I think, through the 4 years or whatever that he was going to be in school, so whatever per year that is.
yeah,
But yeah, I think everyone bashing him probably needs to rewind to when they were, I think he's 19, a little older, but regardless, when they were 18, 19 years old, and be like, okay, this is my position, this happened, and stuff went down. However it went down, what would I do? So, we don't know everything that's, going between the school and the kid, um, bashing someone on Twitter when it's probably not the place to do it.
Twitter
Um,
warriors.
oh yeah, the Twitter warriors, the couch quarterbacks, right? Is that what they call them? Armchair quarterbacks.
I don't know. Had
Yeah,
my
something
fair
like
share in the mentions.
oh my gosh. But back to Rashada. So obviously the whatever the 13 million, the Florida being released of his NLI, national letter of intent. I get confused, and all that stuff behind. It's actually a pretty dang good quarterback. So we got a little breakdown of him coming out at some point. I was going to wait until he renounces the school on Wednesday, but I might just put it out because he's one of the top quarterbacks for a reason. So he's going to make some school happy, right? And so he's at least worth talking about. We're a quarterback show, so we should be talking about this quarterback that got a ton of attention these past few weeks. But we'll see what happens Wednesday. Brady, real quick, you got any good signing day stories? You remember that day for you? You remember everything going on? I have like a heartbreaking one if you want to cry a little bit. You probably got a more positive one than I do.
Now mine was, I think it was quite normal. I got up pretty early, like 7 a.m. I think they faxed over whatever you're supposed to sign. I signed it. My dad was athletic director at Coppell at the time, and we did it in his office and hugged my dad after. And Went to some coffee shop with like all the attention that goes with it, and just
Yeah.
signed whatever the fake signing
Yeah.
with a couple of the players, and
Yeah.
it was a good deal for me.
Signed your John Hancock, which I'm sure you've been signing like thousands of those this past week from this podcast and YouTube channel blowing up, right? They recognize you as
that's a little sore.
Yeah, I get that. Were you committed to Memphis like for a while, or did it happen kind of before, like a little before signing day, or were you always like committed?
No, so I think I committed in like July or something.
Okay.
And I had committed to Rice before that. I don't even know if you know that.
I don't think I did.
I
You
was
must be
committed to
smart. Yeah.
Rice. I'll take it, but yeah, for some reason, stuff didn't work out with Rice, and I wanted to go to Memphis. That was like where I wanted to go, and so it's not that none worked out. I just got the offer from Memphis. I went to a camp, performed well, and I got the offer, and I was like, I'm coming. And
it's exciting.
I took one visit, which was cool, but not very like dramatic and exciting.
Right.
So
Now you know how like 13 hats, like pick one, pick another one, so on.
No, I haven't. No,
I think signing day. So I was not the recruit you were, of course, but you know, a lot of like FCS-ish level, like Division II, D1AA at the time. And there's one school, I won't say it out loud, and I think I've told you some of the story and the coach, anyways. And so I talked to them my whole senior, career essentially, or my senior year. And I knew like, okay, I'm not going to get a big scholarship. I'm going, Division II or FCS route. And there were several FCS schools, and I was like, okay, I don't think I'm getting an offer. I'll probably go as a PWO or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was one school that actually offered me FCS school. I'm not going to name the name. And then something happened. I never heard from them again. I'm sure they found out more about me. I found out I couldn't really play. And then another school, we're talking for months, and like 2 days before signing day, the only email I got was, we decided to go a different way. Best of luck. I didn't get anything else. Not a call, not nothing. We've been talking for months. So anyways, we could talk about that side of recruiting for a while.
I have a question based on that, honestly.
Okay.
So at what point did you know that you weren't going to Power 5?
So for anyone that cares about my illustrious high school career, when I was younger, I was actually better. My freshman, sophomore year, like bust on the scene, big yards, whatever. And then like I was getting stuff like TCU, Utah, Oregon, some like pretty decent sized schools at the time. And then had a like moderate junior year, not great. And then I was like, okay, like I'm not very big. I'm 5'11", like a $180, fairly fast for my position, decent average arm, good for high school. But I was like realistic, So I was like, okay, I'm going to do more of the I was still thinking Division I. So I was like, I'm going to do more of the smaller Division Is. That's kind of the route I want to go. And so I was getting more, like I was getting some Texas States, SMU was our way one to go. Like Stephen F. Austin, which I eventually went at one point. But like some of those schools, I was like, okay, FCS, and then some Division twos were coming in. And then I got hurt my senior year. I won't go into too much detail. And like being that I was like a smaller quarterback, and people wanted to see my senior year, even though I had like 3 years of varsity experience at the time. And so that's kind of how it rolled. Because
I feel like that is a big thing in recruiting. It's just like knowing where you stand. Like, of course, everyone 100%. Dreams of going to that Texas. Might be a little personal. That Texas, that whatever the big school is, where you're next to, and just kind of like swallowing your pride and be like, hey, I guess for whatever reason I'm not that fit, and just kind of turning your focus to realistic options.
Right, like you can go kill at D2 or kill at D3, like. I think I started getting more realistic juniorish year, and I was like going to some of these camps. Like there was like Garrett Gilbert, Matt Barkley. I was like, yo, don't put me in the group with them, okay? Because these guys are spinning it. Where's the JV kids? Can I run a little bit? I can run, I promise.
Yeah, you want a little zone read drill, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, I can beat them in a race. That's about all I got. But I remember I was at a camp in Lake Travis, and they were just spinning it, dude. And I was like, my gosh, they're like sophomores, and I was like, yeah, don't think I'm going big time. But the signing day stories, man, we could spend a whole maybe we should have done. We could spend a whole episode just like signing day and recruiting. Maybe we'll do that at some point.
Yeah.
Down the road, but we'll move on. We won't keep anyone too much longer. So I do want to get into one thing though that I want to start asking quarterbacks and then the show. So I figured let's go ahead and start with you, and it's something that's up my alley just from training a lot of guys in the gym and the field, as far as just athletes go, and a lot of quarterbacks coming in just because of our baseball population, and then of course working with you last offseason, still staying in touch. So this topic is probably something I could talk about for hours. So we'll try to keep it down just a few minutes. But let's go over your pregame routine. So like talk about what you're doing, not just physically, but kind of like mentally, what's going on. Like, do you have any what do baseball players do? Not luck.
Like rituals,
rituals, all that type of stuff. Do you have anything you have to do, have to eat? And then let's go over like how you warm up, how you go about it, like any exercises and what you get into for like the warm up side of things.
Yeah. No, I have some funny rituals. I don't even know if I'm going to say them, but it just made me laugh right thinking about them. But basically for me, and so you heard of Tom House, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think Coach Spavital at Texas State, when I played for him, he put me on the 90-90s, these. Yeah, so I do 40 yards, 40 yards back, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd end with some arm circles and just kind of freelance. I'm not starting with like a knee on the ground, which there's definitely benefits to that. But I just kind of feeling my own vibe, just kind of tossing it around, all feeling how I'm feeling, really. Just throwing on the run, playing catch, just basically playing catch, just trying to make it as easy as possible, as less thinking as possible. And for me, I'm trying to get a mindset of just calm, just staying calm, relaxed. Because I think I tweeted about this a couple of weeks ago, just the mental side of the game for a quarterback is so much different than any other position. You got the D-line, you got the linebackers, receivers, they're all getting hyped. They're bumping music, head banging, I'm about to go kill. I'm about to go kill it. For quarterbacks, I feel like it's best to stay at a even kill. So I'm not listening to Young Boy. I'm not listening to Moneybag Yo. I'm maybe one, but that's it. But I'm mostly listening to guys like Mike, Khalid, Mountain Joy. If you've heard of any of them, just kind of trying to keep it chill.
Yeah.
And
you told me about Mountain Joy or whatever, Rainbow Joy. Yeah, you told me about
that was Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
Okay.
But they're kind of similar. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it chill, really. Not overanalyze, not overhype myself, just play with a calm mind. And yeah, that's really it. I just toss it around. Oh, and then I do have one. I just when I'm the guy, it's different. When you're starting that game, just kind of a warm up's different. It's it's your show. That day is your show.
Right.
And for me as a backup, when I was backing up, I would just try and be there for whoever was playing, just mentally, emotionally. I don't want to overhype them. I don't want to, if they want to do what they want to do, it's their show.
Right.
So just accommodating them in any way I can. And I feel like me and Tyler at Texas State, we had a great understanding of that, and just that creates such a bond between us. There was no envious, no jealousy, and that's still one of my best friends to this day, because we went through so much. We lost so much, and just all that goes back on the quarterback, and we were the only people that really knew what it was like to be in that position. So that created such a deep bond between me and him, and I'll cherish that forever.
That's a good answer. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Or you got more?
No, I was leaving off one, but when I was the guy, I would always chop it up with my dad. Just get out there a little early.
Cool.
And he'd be kind of on the fence line, and I'd go talk with him. Just and that kind of, for me, that gave me a just kind of wow moment. Just I remember me and him talking about being where I'm at now. When I was so young. Yeah. And, being around football, coach's kid, that's all I ever wanted. I just dreamed of playing college football, being the starting quarterback somewhere. And so just talking to him, and just, it kind of makes me realize, and just brings me down to earth, and just
what were the
dream I'm living.
What were those? You don't have to get into too much detail. What were those convos like? Was it football related? Hey, this and that, or was it just kind of chill, kick it, get you calm,
Yeah.
a little bit of
No, it was just chill. I
yeah,
mean, we would talk a little bit. He's not trying to do too much and like get in
right,
my head. He's always done a great job of just letting me be me.
yeah,
And so if I wanted to talk about it, I'd bring it up and we just talk about it like that. But I also think it's really cool for like my family just to get that like experience. Like I've always wanted to be able to provide that, if that makes sense. It's
yeah.
not even
No, I get
you
it.
ain't even
Yeah,
provide much, but just like having
absolutely.
my
Yeah,
family watch me live
yeah.
out my dream and just I mean they supported me from the very beginning. So
Absolutely. It could arguably mean more to family than the person playing just because they're so happy to see like someone they love out there doing what they love to do. That
yeah.
makes parents, extremely happy. Man, that's a great answer. I don't have anything to add or take away besides the one thing I noticed was you don't do all the rotator cuff stuff, the low trap, the straightest, all the stuff I spend hours and hours making, sending your way, warming you up. You just kind of throw that away, right? You see that in the
No,
game, not doing.
that work is done in the off season. Well,
Okay.
game
Fair
day,
enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
ain't no more preparation.
Yeah. Fair
So
enough. Fair
it's time to
enough.
go.
We'll have that talk later. But good answer. All right. So last thing before we end it, something we always want to do is give some advice to younger quarterbacks. So like you gave some advice last week. What do you have this week for any younger quarterback that's watching this show? The quick advice I would give is I'll make it real quick, is just focus on what you can control, right? Sounds so simple and easy. We kind of talked about last week, but like you can
Mm-hmm.
control waking up early and working out. You can control like eating the food you need to eat to gain weight, right? You can control taking care of your body, right? So, go out and control it and don't complain about stuff not coming your way necessarily unless you've like done every kind of you've gone through every option possible, right? So that's kind of my simple advice to young quarterbacks. Not that they want mine, but
Yeah, man. If you keep asking me every week, I'm gonna be done like next week.
hey, I think the next month we're booked with guests, so we'll ask them their advice. Yeah, we'll
I'll
be
try and
good.
go get some more advice for myself. But no, in all seriousness, my advice would just be like really finding out who you are and sticking to that. Just based like it'll help you so much in like a leadership role and like when you got everyone looking at you is staying true to yourself, man. And like people respect that. They respect you staying true to yourself and people can see through like your authenticity. And if you're just yourself all the time, no one's gonna be able to take that away from you. Like you're just gonna gain more I guess respect is what I'm trying to say. Respect and respect of your peers and it'll just go a long way for you, I feel like. So
Yeah,
I've
that's a
learned
good.
from a lot of great quarterbacks. I've sat behind Chase, I've sat behind Brady White and all those guys. Brady White was really good. Just like talk about a quarterback that does every single thing right and maximizes his opportunity as Brady. And as an 18-year-old freshman, that is just what I needed to look up to as a guy that's going to do everything right and not rely just on his talent, but he took care of his body. He was great to people. He's a great leader. And I mean, I've been fortunate to look up to some great role models. So
That's good. That's good words of advice. Good stuff. Well, man. Well. Episode 2 is over, so I know the thousands of people watching this will probably go back and rewatch, re-listen, all that fun stuff. But in all seriousness, thanks for watching and following along. Again, this is just a place, or just a QB hub, anything and everything quarterback. We got so many fun guests coming up, from coaches to players to former players, or just so much stuff we're excited to share. And I guess we'll see them next time. I'm ready.
Yep. I'll see you.
All right. Peace.